And here we are again, Pete. Tasting wine with Pete and Dave.
Yes, well, indeed, and we've got a little bit of an idea, a theme today. You were saying.
Yes. Well, as a bit of a response to a request online on YouTube, it's been requested that we do a bit of a series on bang for your buck. I mean, the best sort of wines
value
that you
for
get.
money.
Value for money. That's right. Yeah. So we've picked out
a few today.
4 wines.
Yep.
That interesting little price range. They're all sort of under the $15 mark. But I've got one here that just nudging up. If you hunt and search around in the retail sector for these wines, I've got one here that sells for as little as $5.
Okay, all right. Cool.
That's pretty incredible, Pete.
Well, it is, yeah. Look, we often talk about, when people ask you about wines that represent value for money, that you can get value for money ostensibly at all price points.
Yeah, look, and I appreciate a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
Sometimes on its own, sometimes with a meal. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you want to stretch your budget a little bit.
Sometimes you don't have a budget to stretch.
Yes.
As we both know.
So yes.
That's very valid. And again, you look at a bottle of wine and say, okay, maybe I feel like a glass of wine tonight, but I don't want to go all out. I don't want to be maybe concentrating, thinking too much about it, analysing it to within an inch of its life. And I've just got a bit of pizza that I picked up on the way home.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be opening my $40 Barossa Shiraz with that. But you want to have a drink, and something like this works.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And I got to say, this sort of wine, like you say, not evaluating it, just having it with a bit of pizza.
Well, you just feel like a drink. At the end of the day, and it's a very civilised thing to do. People often look at you and go, "Oh, you just feel like a drink." Well, that's what the Europeans have done for hundreds of years, And they sit down and have lunch anywhere across France or Italy or Spain. It's inconceivable that they would have their lunch without having a glass of wine.
Yeah.
And it is definitely part of the culture, and it's something that we have embraced a lot more readily in Australia over the last 20, 30 years, and we still have some of the best value for money wines in Australia. So, this wine is an example. So, what have we got here? This is the De Bordeley Sacred Hill.
De Bordeley, now they're pretty big as well.
They are.
In Barossa.
Riverina is where they started, and they've gone to the Hunter and they've gone to the Yarra Valley.
Yeah.
Most of their, I guess, value for money everyday drinking wine, if you like, comes from Riverina vineyards around Griffith and so on. And again, you're looking at big, bright fruit flavours. This I know this is a 2013.
Yes.
Good vintage across most of Australia. Most of the premium reds aren't in bottle yet.
First thing I notice is it's not real dark.
No.
It's very, very light.
Yeah. It's a very bright colour.
Almost, very bright, almost borderline on a rosé.
Oh yeah, or maybe a Pinot or a Beaujolais. That type of look about it. But yeah. One thing you can be fairly sure of with a wine like this is that there will be little or no oak influence. And you think, okay,
this is all fruit?
Yeah, it's all fruit, which is what you want. You don't want any oak getting in the road of it, effectively.
Yeah. Oh, gee, it's got a beautiful nose.
Listed as Shiraz Cabernet, which people will know in Australian wine terms means that there's more Shiraz in it than Cabernet. They're the two grapes that are the main players in it. So Shiraz on the one hand, Cabernet Sauvignon on the other. You're getting bright, fleshy fruit character from the Shiraz. You're getting a little bit of structure from the Cabernet.
Absolutely. There is bright, fleshy fruit flavor from that Shiraz. Lovely berries, and it's got a reasonable sort of a middle palate as well. Considering this wine you can find it if you hunt for it for $5.
Oh yeah.
That's
look,
under $10. It's
bright, fleshy fruit. That's a really good drink. Very clean. All the things that the Australian wine industry has traditionally done well are encapsulated in this wine.
Absolutely.
The English wine writers that I first started to learn about wine many, many years ago, they used to describe Australian wine as sunshine in a bottle. Hugh Johnson, the great English wine writer, one of the great literary stylists of the world, in fact, and he just happens to write about wine, and that was one of the expressions he used, sunshine in a bottle. He used to describe the Australian wine that he was trying in the 1960s and 1970s.
Yeah.
And that still rings true. That's it.
Bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
Now, interested in this, this is the Hanwood Estate, McWilliams.
Made by McWilliams, yep.
Merlot. Now, this is 2012, and again, this is under $10. if you hunt for it.
Yeah. But we should point out as well to people that if you walk into an independent bottle shop or a shop out somewhere where they pay high rent on their real estate or something else, and you might happen to pay $12, you're still getting bang for your buck as well. So yes, you could hunt around in one of the big box liquor stores and you might find this for $8 or $9 or $10, but you know, if you pay $12 for this, it's not like you're getting ripped off.
No. Now the first thing I noticed there, you've got a little bit more color. It's got a little more depth.
A bit more depth to it.
To the color. Yep. Oh, bigger, plummier sort of fruit, obviously.
Plums is a good description for that.
Yep. That's the Merlot. I mean.
Yep. But again, very little oak treatment. This is something that we will notice at this end of the price point. We're going to find, and sometimes people might be unkind and say, "Oh, look, well, maybe they've used oak chips." Well, so be it.
Yeah.
You're not going to perhaps waste expensive oak barrels on a bottle of wine that you only want to sell for $10.
That's right.
Because they cost a lot of money.
They have to take in consideration when producing this the other costs involved, the bottle, the labeling,
precisely,
the manual labor involved.
Yep.
I mean, they're not getting a lot of money per bottle, so they've got to produce a lot of it as well.
They've got to pay some marketing type person to write a spiel on the back.
Yeah, you know? And I would suggest...
There's not much of a spiel there, so they probably didn't pay him much for it.
And I would suggest that at a wine this level as well, they've got a lot of grapes, a lot of juice that they aren't considering to be the quality stuff that they're going to put into their $20 and $30 bottles.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
This is the result of that.
Well, again, see, McWilliams are probably best known in inner circles of wine, so to speak, for their premium Hunter Valley stuff.
Yep.
They make Semillon, everybody knows the Elizabeth Semillon. They make the Philip Shiraz, and they make a lot of other premium stuff from Hunter Valley fruit. This is where they started, in fact, around the Riverina, and this is the heartland for McWilliams, and this is the engine room of what they do.
Yeah.
And again, right across the board, the Hamwood label is outstanding value for money.
Yeah.
It really is. You know, the Chardonnay is one of the best white wines on the market. You know, this Merlot we've picked out just because there's a lot of cheap and cheerful Merlot out there, but some of it's a bit sweet.
Yeah.
Some of it's maybe sweetened up a little bit. This is
good fruity character, like you say, not much influence of oak.
No, but really good fruit.
Yeah, if you enjoy a Merlot that's not too sweet.
That's right. And the thing with a wine like this too is you could trade up with this in the sense that, yes, you might think, all right, it's an everyday drinking quaffer, it's something I'll have with my pizza or something at home. But on the other hand, if you went out to dinner and you weren't sure what was on a wine list, and maybe you were ordering at a restaurant price wine list and you were having a nice bit of steak and someone said, oh, look, well that wine there, I know that, McWilliams Hamwood Merlot. Yep. You think, well, hang on, I know that as well. That's a pretty good drink.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be disappointed if I get that bottle of wine and I could have that with my upmarket steak and it's going to go perfectly well.
Yeah, I get that too. I mean, I would drink that with a pizza or with a beautiful steak as well. Either one. I mean, it's going to be beautiful wine.
Absolutely.
Now, next one on our list here.
Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah, another de Bourlia. And like I said, they're big, so they do quite a range. And I think they do, at this end of the market, they do quite a good range.
Oh, they do very well.
This is
big, but they're not as big as some. It just shows you how well they manage their fruit and how well they manage their vineyards, and they're able to make good quality wine and not charge a lot of money for it.
Yep. Now this is just a straight Shiraz. This is the VAT 8. This is the VAT 8. Now this is from
probably from the Great Vineyard of Southeast Australia.
Southeast Australia, yeah.
I mean, again,
just a straight
more
Shiraz.
than likely to be
series.
Riverina fruit again. You know, warm climate, easy to get the grapes ripe, and not much problem with disease. All of these things that enable you to make value for money wines, good, clean, everyday, easy drinking wines at a very fair price.
Now, there's a bit of depth in the colour there as well.
Yep. Well, again, you're thinking, okay, Shiraz, and this one, funny enough, compared to the previous one, straight away on the nose, you're getting a little bit of sweet oak.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just get the smokiness of that of oak. So they've used a bit toast on the oak.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, you sort of think, well,
wow,
oak costs money.
Wow,
even oak chips cost money. But I mean,
I'm blown away by that. I mean, that's again, if you shop around, that's around about that $10 mark.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find it. You can find that on special for under $10. If you walk into any of the bigger concerns around the place, walk into any of the big box liquor stores, you will find that for under $10.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, it just reminded me, you said if you look around, I remember just recently seeing an ad for that in, I think it was Aldi's.
Okay.
You can get it online.
Yep.
Online, but still, it was just over $9.
Wow. Okay, so there you go. Well, that adds grist to the gristle.
Absolutely.
You're basically getting
Bang
a
for
wine
your
of that
buck.
caliber for under $10 is pretty astonishing. And if you paid $15 for it, you're still getting good wine.
You would. I would pay $15 easily for that.
You'd be happy to do that. And again, you sit there and think, for those people who maybe would regularly spend more money on their wine, and if they're going to have upmarket dishes, and they might have, we keep talking about pizza, but just something you've had at home, takeaway Chinese, whatever it is that you want, you could say, yeah, this will work. But on the other hand, if you went around to Grandma's place and she's cooked the best roast lamb, and she pulled out a bottle of this, you're thinking, oh, good, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm more than pleased to do that.
Just having a drink of that on the palate, that's got a great middle palate.
Yep.
It's
Beautiful
lingering.
flesh. Yep.
Absolutely. That's got everything that you would want in a wine. I mean, there's great fruit there. There's a good balance of oak. There's some oak. You can detect that in there. There's a reasonable amount of acid. It's just an absolutely lovely wine.
Good length of flavour.
Again, bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
You can't go past it.
Can't go wrong with that. Yep.
Now, interested in this next one. This is Yalumba.
Oh, right. Yes. We've talked about this before. This is one of my favourite ranges of wine on the market today. You talk about good value for money. The Yalumba Y series, they're a bigger company. So, they're a bigger company than the other ones that we've looked at. Maybe not any bigger than McWilliams, but Yalumba is one of the old family companies. They promote themselves as being the oldest continually operated family company, owned by the same mob since the 1840s, etc., etc. The range of wines that comes out under this Y series, you can find this, and this is another thing we should mention when we talk about bang for your buck. It's a handy thing to have that all of these wines we talk about are widely available. And that's always a good thing, that you can walk into almost any reputable bottle shop in Australia and you can find these wines. So you look at Yalumba Y series, they make a Chardonnay, they make a Pinot Grigio. The varietal expression in these wines is just brilliant.
Hey, and my suggestion and advice is to do your due diligence. I've been involved in wine retail for a number of years, and you can look around, and some of the big boys out there, there are people around who can actually help you when you go into a shop. So shop around and look for this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you will find some absolute bargains.
But with a wine like that, the quality across the range is so consistently good that you can walk into a bottle shop and you think, I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. I'm in a country town. I'm somewhere away from home. I'm not really sure where I am, but I just need to grab a bottle of wine for dinner. And you walk into the shop and you see the Yalumba Y series range. Oh, wow. All the wines in that range. You think, well, okay, I haven't had that one before, but the guy that I'm meeting tonight, his wife likes Pinot Grigio, for argument's sake. Well, hang on, I've never had that before, but I know everything in this range is good, so I can buy that Yalumba Y series Pinot Grigio with confidence.
This is
Shiraz Viognier, like that normally costs a fair bit of money to make Shiraz Viognier. Like they've got to have the Shiraz grapes and the Viognier grapes mixed in with it, and it's not an easy process. You normally pay a fair bit of money to get a halfway decent drink under that label.
And I get that Viognier, that little twang Viognier in the middle palate. It is just absolutely beautiful.
That's just a beautiful drink.
Oh, yeah. Incredible. Everything that it should be. Wow. That's incredible, Pete. Bang for your buck. We'll do it again. How about that?
I think so.
All right.
Very good.
Thanks, Pete.
Well, hope that answers some of the comments, inquiries that we've had.
Yeah.
That'll give you a start. As we always say, there's value for money at all price points, but this is an entry-level range of wines that you could be happy to drink anytime, any place.
Great. Thanks, Pete.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Okay.